Hello there everybody, Sabaranai2 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Higurashi, Matsuribayashi, fucking... I had a bit of a stroke. Anyway, in the last episode we got a couple more pieces. We broke a few, unfortunately, but there's not much else I can do about that. Apparently the father has not been marked as an opportunist yet. On the other hand, we got the C103, the H170, we got the Stop the Dissection, and we got the truth about Shirakawa Park. So, we need to go ahead and go a little bit in. Let's see. Okay, so we can do the distrust of the mother of a queen. So this must be, Rika's mom. At least... Oh my god, this must be where I get Rika's mom's suspicion. Oh my god. Okay. I'm going to assume that's where I get this, so I'm going to go ahead and write that down. Distrust of the mother of a queen. I feel like a total doofus. Alright. Let's go. Rika developed a high fever. Son of a gun! Rika equals high fever. And now that we've also got Tomataki's fever, we can finally do that one as well. A very high fever. It's not flu season, or a season for any type of contagious disease. Then I remember the suspicious experiment Rika has gone through. Maybe the fever is caused by that. Her growth is rather slow compared to other children her age. Receiving mysterious shots and going through experiments every week. I'm sure her body is exhausted. Oh, no doubt on that, dear God. I've asked the staff to go easy on her, but Rika herself is fearless and is willing to go through anything. Oh, this is Rika's mom. My husband, who should be the one to warn her about it, truly believes that it involves the lives of over 2,000 villagers, and he's the one taking her to the clinic every week. I'm the only one who's sincerely worried about Rika's health. That's why I want to ask Dr. Iri to be a little more considerate towards Rika. Anyway, I have to talk to them about taking responsibility for this. Right after I called, a clinic staff member came to pick Rika up to admit her to the clinic. As a guardian, I followed. Please, calm down. We'll make sure she'll be okay, so please wait for a while. How can I calm down? Why did she come down with such a high fever? Isn't this caused by the suspicious experiment you performed last week? Rika is just a little girl. She cares about her friend. That's why she's going through this. I understand. There's no way our research will affect Rika-san in a negative way. Besides, we're being extremely cautious about things, so that won't happen. Then explain this high fever. Oh, that's easy. The season is changing. How could this be a simple cold? This is because of the suspicious shot you gave her. Dr. Iri only tells me to calm down and refuses to accept the responsibility. My husband told me this is an emergency for the village, and that's why I've held back my suspicion until today. But I'm at the limit. The existence of these people has been suspicious from the beginning. The research is conducted in secrecy using a privacy policy as an excuse. That's far too suspicious. That's just impossible. In fact, I've called the Ministry of Health before and was told that such a thing doesn't exist. Even after I told them I'm Furude Rika's mother. They even came up with stupid excuses, saying the normal workers often don't know of a special institute like theirs. That doesn't make sense at all. It's too suspicious. Clearly, woman. Also, there are people who don't appear to be researchers in the institute. They look like security guards, but they seem so different from normal security guards at a normal hospital. Actually, I've seen by accident that they are armed with guns. That is... I'm sorry. And that is... Are they policemen? I don't think so. Who are you all, anyway? I refuse to believe you're from the Ministry of Health. It appears Dr. Iri is taken aback because of my intensity, and he can't even answer properly. They are still hiding a lot more from us. That tells me the research they are working on with Rika isn't anything honest. Anyway, I'm Rika's guardian. Rika is still a child. It doesn't matter what she says. I won't let her participate in this research anymore. Oh my. It's Rika-chan's mother. Hello? Ooh, what's the matter? Is everything okay?
Well, the Rika-chan's mother says she won't let Rika-chan participate in the research anymore.
Why is that? She's not a guinea pig, that's why! We've never treated her that way. You're misunderstanding us. I'm a little startled. Dr. Yuri is rather a wimp who'd back off when pushed. But Takano-san is different. I'm yelling at her, but she's not afraid at all.
Girl, you have not seen the hell that she has experienced, my god!
On the contrary, her eyes are glaring, and she looks as if she's about to jump on me. Rika-chan's fever is caused by a cold. We didn't cause it. When it comes to safety and sanitation, we pay the same level of attention as a national research team. I don't mean to be rude, but considering you walk around while holding Rika-chan's hands without disinfecting your hands with alcohol first, we are more sanitary by far. We're not talking about that! Anyhow, Rika isn't your toy. Oh, but she is. She'll never come back here. You can't decide that by yourself. You and your husband both signed the statement of consent, right?
Also, I think it's the first time I've seen her make that face.
We have been depositing money that's by no means a small amount into your account every single month for her cooperation in the research. What? I knew nothing about any money. I've never even heard of it. Rika receiving money for participating in the research is news to me. Knowing my husband's character, he wouldn't have used it as spending money behind my back. I bet he thought of this as a free service for the villagers and completely forgot about money being deposited into our account. There haven't been any strange deposits in the regular account, so it may be in the savings account. Anyway, I don't care about that. If you want to breach the contract, we have to ask you to return the full amount of deposits we have made up until this point. Also, if one party is at fault for the breach of contract.
Takano-san! Please calm down. Mrs. Furude, too. Just as I explained to you before, we must find a cure for the Hinamizawa syndrome so the villagers can continue to live without worries. For that reason, we need to have Rika-san participate in the research. Then tell me, when are you going to find a cure? It doesn't make sense. At first, you said this was for Rika's friend Satoko-chan, but Satoko-chan has already been released from the clinic and is carrying on with a happy life now. You even told my husband 2 weeks ago that you've already found a cure, didn't you? Yes. I think I've told him something like that. But to solve the mysteries of the Hinamizawa syndrome...
You didn't mention anything about solving all the mysteries in the beginning. Rika was to participate to find a cure for the villagers. Then her job is done. All the research and experiments you're performing on Rika have nothing to do with the cure. You're doing them out of your own interests, aren't I right?
That's not true. It really isn't. Anyway, Rika-san's cold is just a misunderstanding. If you still feel that suspicious, then...
That's enough! Since money is involved here, I'll have to discuss it with my husband. Excuse me.
We're going to have to kill her, aren't we?
Oh, I like the way you think.
I don't like that way of thinking.
They were too shady from the very beginning. Because of the exaggerated story, Rika and my husband took their side, but it won't work on me. Anyhow, I must settle things with them now, because Rika isn't their toy. I especially don't trust that woman called Takano. Dr. Iri seems to me like he's still a doctor, but she doesn't. How can I describe her? She puts me off in the mind of somebody who's experienced absolute torment. Wait a minute, how do I have that knowledge? I guess I can say the glow in her eyes is too unpleasant. Considering, maybe. She only sees Rika as a guinea pig. I can feel the cruelty from her. Neither my husband nor Rika notice that. I must protect her. I must protect Rika as a mother.
It's not like you, Takano-san. Getting into an argument with her like that only makes things more complicated. It's not like you at all.
I know. Sorry for losing my cool.
Again, another expression I've never seen her do. Did something happen for her to be in a bad mood? The emotional conversation she had just now isn't like her at all. Damn! Again, aside from like the traumatic stuff in her childhood where she was extremely more emotional in some aspects, I've never seen her that mad. That's unsettling. Ugh. Okay, with that we got Rika's fever. Now we can tackle the other one that requires Tomataki's fever. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. 1, 2, 3. That number. Takano-san always comes along with me whenever I come for a photo shoot stroll. I think she has found a joy with cameras, and I'm happy to gain a friend who shares the same hobby. However, there's actually something else she is much more interested in. That is, to look up the old history of Hinamizawa. She goes to local libraries and archives to read through various literatures, and she has actually become quite a historian of Hinamizawa. When she's in a good mood, she tells me about things like Hinamizawa used to be called, Onikafuchi Village, and the villagers used to perform various cruel ceremonies based on the belief of Oyashiro-sama. She must like touchy stories like this, and actually, that makes her more mysterious. On the other hand, I don't do well with grotesque stories, so I can hardly respond to her. The stories of cruel ceremonies that she gets excited about, I don't really get them at all that well. Well, you're a precious boy, so... However, her eyes are so sparkly when she talks about that, so I don't mind spending time with her even when she talks about cruel things like that. You sure like looking into those things, don't you?
Sure, it's fun. It is so exciting to unravel a hidden dark past that has been sealed away. Don't you think so?
Takano-san smiles as she talks, which makes me think a hidden dark past is something fun. But of course it isn't. The hidden dark past of Hinamizawa she likes to look into is something so cruel and atrocious. Just like witch hunts from the Middle Ages, or witch hunts of Umineko.
Besides, they help me when I research the Hinamizawa syndrome. You don't have to always look through microscopes to research things. Sometimes, the tradition of this village that has spent a long time together with this parasite can teach us things far more valuable.
That's true. Boy, you are such a passionate researcher.
Because researching is my life's work. To step into an unknown mystery and exposing a secret that nobody knows about. Don't you think that's wonderful? It tickles my intellectual curiosity. That's probably the greatest entertainment available to only humans who can feel joy from thinking. The first person to work on this research, Dr. Takano, must have discovered something fascinating enough to make him devote his entire life to the research of the Hinamizawa syndrome, too. I think I'm the only one who can really understand his feelings. Since you are not a researcher, is this too much to understand?
She is always so enthusiastic every time she talks about the late Dr. Takano, an independent researcher who was the first person to discover the existence of the Hinamizawa syndrome. I think there's something more than just admiration as a researcher. I notice something now. The late Dr. Takano's full name is Takano Hifumi, and Takano-san's full name is Takano Mio. Although they use different characters, their last names both sound Takano, and their first names are Hi, Fu, Mi, and Mi, Yo. 34. I sense a mysterious connection between them. I don't know anything about the personal side of Takano-san, but there's a good possibility that her name Takano is an alias. So it's very possible she chose the name of the researcher she admires. I see.
So, is that why your name is Mio?
What?
Well, the name of the researcher you admire is Takano Hifumi, right? And your name is Mio. 1, 2, 3, and 3 and 4. You are continuing the research he wasn't able to complete, so I thought maybe that's why you have that name.
Who told you that?
No! I just thought of that now. I didn't hear that from anybody.
You're right. I'm impressed, Jiro-san.
I know you admire Dr. Takano, and sometimes you spoke as if you were his daughter or granddaughter, who inherit the research legitimately. That's why I said that. Even book authors like Itogawa Ranpo have pen names named as homages towards the authors they admire as well. So I thought maybe your name is like your pen name, you know?
No, that's not so. Takano Mio is my real name. However, my real last name uses a different character, though.
So, your last name is exactly the same as Dr. Takano? Oh my goodness! And Mio's your real name too! Takano Mio continues the research of Takano Hifumi. What a fateful coincidence!
You're overstating, Jiro-san. This isn't a fate of any kind. He is my grandfather.
What? This is news to me. I heard Takano-san discovered the documents about the Hinamizawa syndrome left by Dr. Takano after his death and continued the research. I never heard of them being related.
Someone told me it'll leave a bad impression if I ask for funds to continue my grandfather's research, because people may think I'm trying to pull funds to help my family matter. That's why I changed one of the characters in my last name. So, other than Father Koizumi, you're the first person I told this to.
I see. I didn't know. So, that's the reason why you are so passionate about the Hinamizawa syndrome research. Now I understand very clearly. She succeeded the research her grandfather wasn't able to complete.
My grandfather also searched the Hinamizawa syndrome from not only a medical point of view, but from old documents and literatures as well. Looking through the literatures of a village that has been living with the Hinamizawa syndrome for hundreds of years can be far more valuable than looking through microscopes with hundreds of times of magnification. My grandfather taught me that.
I see. I'm sure your grandfather is so happy that you are succeeding his research that he couldn't complete. I bet he's so proud of you.
I hope so.
I said something Takano-san would normally tease me about, but she didn't. She nods and smiles. There's no mistake. She is indeed a granddaughter of Dr. Takano.
My grandfather is Hifumi, which means 1, 2, 3. And I'm Mio, which means 3, 4. Following after my grandfather, we have only counted the 3 together. And counted the 4 after my grandfather. We must reach the 5 that neither me nor my grandfather has seen yet. That is my duty, and the reason I was born.
So that's why your name is Mio, huh? I think that's a beautiful name.
Thank you. But please, keep the granddaughter issue to yourself. My clients don't even know it, and I don't want any unnecessary problems from them knowing about it.
Sure. Okay. This is a secret between you and me, huh? Although it's a small secret, it makes me feel good that I'm the only one who knows about this.
I've only counted to 3. I haven't even reached 4 yet. The path of the research is long and rough, but I will do it. I will expose the secret of the Hinamizawa syndrome.
I'll support you. I mean, that's my job in the first place, huh?
You would have sounded so cool if you didn't say extra things like that. You only needed to say, "You'll support me, you know."
Okay, I'll support you.
It's too late. You're not cool if you can't get it right the first time.
We laughed cheerfully together. And after we finished laughing, she becomes serious and says, as if to drive the point home.
So remember, Jiro-san, don't tell anybody that I'm his granddaughter, okay?
Okay, I promise.
It's not a bad thing, but I don't want the clients to cut the funding because of that.
I don't think they will. Besides, I won't tell a soul.
Are you sure? Are you really, really sure? I received my life for this research. My mission is to complete my grandfather's research, to prove that the trampled research is actually something amazing that will shock the world, and to make everyone praise my grandfather who is perishing away under the earth, eventually having him ascend as a god. Those are the reasons and the purpose of my life. Jiro-san, if you say something to interfere and create problems for the research...
Don't worry. I'll forget everything you told me here. Really, I mean it. I won't say anything. I promise. I won't say anything!
Are you sure, Jiro-san?
I feel something frightening in her just for a bit. I'm afraid that she would get completely possessed by it. So I swear to keep the promise. Her intellectual curiosity as a researcher, and the will to complete her grandfather's research are stirring her passion for the research of the Hinamizawa syndrome. But I think there is one more reason that is stirring her. But it's far too deep, and it's within a wound in her heart that someone like me shouldn't touch. But earlier, she said, if I create problems for the research, I wonder what she wanted to say after that. I can't help thinking she wanted to say something frightening and merciless. I keep my promise with her, and we never talk about this issue ever again after this day.
You had the warning signs, Jiro. You had the warning signs that she is uber serious. She's not nice.
Is evil. Just so you know.
Okay, so... We got... Okay, from that, we... Wait. Tomotaki's promise. That was Tomotaki's promise. Oh. I completely misconstrued that. I thought a promise to take her out shooting pictures would... Oh. That was the real promise. Okay, which one requires... Okay, let's see. Tomotaki Jiro's promise. Okay. It's just... Okay. I bet you it's on this page. Tomotaki Jiro's promise is required. A bottle of wine is required for a toast. A draft of emergency manual is required. Okay, I'm gonna go over my notes one more time here, because I'm pretty I wonder if we actually got that done yet. The full experience meeting, Sonozaki, starter for Satoshi, dead, manager, possess, Onigafuchi, let's see. I'm looking specifically for the manual. Okay, I don't think I've got the manual yet. Research stranded. Instructions for kidnapping. Rika's mom's suspicion. Oh! Yagochi query. I think that was the manual draft. Let's see. Yes! 1 on a die. It happened so suddenly. Father Koizumi passed away. And Koizumi's dead! Koizumi dead. I never heard he was ill or wasn't feeling well. His chest started to hurt suddenly and couldn't sleep. He called an ambulance for the first time in his life because he didn't think he could endure the pain. He was taken into emergency care, but he didn't live to see morning. It was an acute myocardial infarction.
Infraction or infarction?
But in a way, maybe it was the best possible way to go. Compared to being in bed for many years, slowly dilapidating and withering away. He was healthy until his death, so I think he must have lived a wonderful life. But still, it was too sudden. I wish I called him Father more. It's too late, though. Father Koizumi would never smile with his wrinkly old face to me no matter how many times I call him. He was my guardian until now. He always looked after me to make sure all my efforts would be righteously evaluated. Maybe he did that because he couldn't help my grandfather's research when he was alive. But still, he was an important person to me. He wasn't just my political backup. But I didn't realize that when he was alive. I even thought of just using his power for my own agenda. But after he died, I realized Father Koizumi was my grandpa. He provided the warmth and protection that I longed for from my own grandfather. At his funeral, I shed tears that I thought that I forgot how to. Father, thank you for everything. I should have called you Father more, huh? No matter how many times I call him, he would never reply. What I can do for him at this point is to complete the research. I must accomplish my goal for his sake. When my grandfather's research is acknowledged, Father Koizumi's name will be known once again for being the sole supporter of his research. I believe that is the best way to repay him for everything he has done. I vow to devote myself into the research even more from this day on. But, unfortunately, bad things seem to happen at the same time. It was like the tailwind was changed suddenly to the headwind. It was a sudden change in wind direction. So strong, so cold, so sad. What? What are you talking about, Jiro-san? Well, you know that Koizumi-sensei was the main political sponsor for the Erie Institution, right? The establishment of this place was done all thanks to his strong political pressure and maneuvering related bureaucracies for its approval. He was indeed the top-ranking official who was known for the upbringing of the post-war pharmaceutical industry of Japan. He had huge political industrial influence over these issues. So, now that Koizumi-sensei's gone, his way won't work any longer? So far, it's only a rumor, so I don't know for sure. But I heard they're going to reconsider the allocated budget for the project. Are you saying the Erie Institution will be closed? No. I haven't heard anything about reconsidering the Erie Institution. But after Koizumi-sensei's death, the rumor says there are vast confusions among the old gods and the factions as well as a civil strife within the party for his successor. It seems the opposing factions are gaining influence on the human resources of our client. So, they may begin to dig deep into the holy treasure chest that Koizumi faction held to fund their research, their project. Of course, these are too complicated for me to explain. And besides, these may be just a rumor. Hiro-san said it's only a rumor repeatedly, but that is telling me the wind direction has changed. Or maybe Hiro-san already knows everything, and is simply trying to warn me that the wind direction will change suddenly. Then, at the next routine audit, Hiro-san told me. High government officials who have never been here came to this routine audit along with Hiro-san. Just seeing those faces, I realized the turning point is approaching. As you know, the Alphabet Project was created to strengthen post-war Japan's presence in the world through the view of developing defensive weapons. However, we are now in the 50s of the Showa era, and the 21st century is just around the corner. In this day and age, we must put the past behind us and start looking for a new world in the 21st century. He meant exactly what he said. Japan has already put the past behind.
and it is cutting off its ties to the ghosts that wish to regain the militaristic might of the pre-war era.
It's been 40 years since the end of the war, and we have contributed to the world through various peaceful methods. We have created a strong alliance with the United States, and our country is a major player in world affairs. We have kept our promise to forever renounce war and nuclear weapons, and we are known as a nation of peace. In this coming century, our presence and influence will grow even larger.
The Alphabet Project, the main sponsor of the Erie Institution, are a group of people who want to find a weapon that would be deterrent to the nuclear weapon in which Japan is forbidden to own. They come to this subsidiary like the Erie Institution and tell us that Japan has renounced nuclear weapons. It's clear that there will be a strong and cold headwind ahead of us. The roll of the dice that came up with 1 on that stormy day has showed up again. I won't let the result of a roll of a dice affect me. My will won't lose against some playful trick of God's roll of dice.
Therefore, we're going to review the Alphabet Project to one that's more suitable to our time right now. The new Alphabet Project will be figuring out the best way for this country to achieve a larger presence in world affairs, not through militaristic means, but through peaceful measures like international trade and economic development.
All of the people who have tremendous influence in the politics and economy of Japan were born before the war. So, they want to regain the glory of pre-war Japan. They have an idea that if they research the bomb that caused Japan to be defeated, then they can win next time. They are indeed the ghosts of the war. Now, everyone was thinking it. But they couldn't say anything against those people. Soon the old will wither away, and the new generation will take control. So Father Koizumi was the last remaining pillar for the old generation. It's just that his death is giving a chance for the new generation to step in. The things they couldn't argue openly are now being discussed. Some people pointed out from the beginning that the Alphabet Project was created to satisfy personal reasons of a small group of people, and it sucked money out of the treasury. Then the new generation of politicians take over the old generation.
Therefore, all the projects that are related to the Alphabet Project will be reviewed. Of course, the Erie Institution is one of them. Please understand.
I understand. We can't research without our sponsors, after all. We'll give you our full cooperation.
Erie responds appropriately, but obviously he's bewildered. The best equipment and staff are being provided to the Erie Institution. In other words, our research requires a huge amount of money. For those who are not interested in the Hinamizawa syndrome, they probably won't be able to understand why that much money is being put into the research of disgusting parasites. If they're going to revise the budget, that's okay. We were, in fact, receiving more than enough money, and that is going to be adjusted. It hurts, but we can endure. That's what I thought. But enduring isn't the same as a roll of a dice coming up as one. So even in that sense, this is definitely a roll of dice coming up as one.
Anyway, the new board of directors was created in April, and the new decisions came up for all related projects. For more details, please look at the papers I'm going to pass out.
The papers are being passed around. He starts to go over the details, but I read through quickly so I can learn about their stupid decisions.
The Erie Institution has made accomplishments in finding out the mystery of the Hinamizawa syndrome as well as a cure for the disease. The board of directors are extremely pleased. We acknowledge the effort of Director Erie and his staff.
Thank you.
He's receiving the congratulatory praise, but the tense mood surrounds me and Erie. It's customary to start with a contradictory statement before moving on to the main issue. The main issue is something good, then start with something bad. Vice versa for something bad.
The Erie Institution had two purposes for their research. One was to research the disease and to find a cure. The other was to study the possibility of utilizing the disease for the military purpose. The new board of directors has decided to stop the latter immediately. In this day and age, to be researching about biological weapons is an Achilles heel for Japan. The Erie Institution must cease all related research and discard all of its contents.
I understand. I comply.
Erie replies immediately. Erie was assertive about finding a cure, but he was never even interested in researching its use for military purpose. So I'm sure he had no trouble concurring to such demand. But I don't agree. Because the research will be limited towards a cure. To me, researching a cure is simply a byproduct of my goal, which is to unravel the disease. Also, regarding the Erie Institution, we have decided to have you wrap up the research within the next 3 years. The funding will decrease gradually as well.
Wait, please. We have only figured out the mystery of the Hinamizawa syndrome recently, and there's a lot more to learn about the disease so we can create a better cure. We are making a progress, but we can't guarantee we'll come up with a complete cure within 3 years.
The board of directors understands that you've already finished the research and created a cure. You've already produced the C117 vaccine, and there is data. C117.
No, it's not even close to being completed. We are still at the testing stage of C117. It's far from being able to cure all the villagers. It is obtuse to assume our research is completed when there is a lot more to research.
Okay, that was him. My bad. God dang it.
I'm surprised Erie objected. Thanks to him, I didn't have to say anything. But if he didn't, I'm sure I would have stood up in hysteria. Almost like I just did there for a moment.
In other words, the Erie Institution is not capable to cure all people who are infected or to eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome at this point, is that right?
Yes. Of course, to cure all the villagers and to eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome will be possible in the future, and that is my biggest goal. But I need more time and also funds for that. Our job is to research, conduct trial and error, and then establish our theories. It's different from making something according to a blueprint. We can't accomplish things in a limited time frame. So please understand that.
I guess Erie speaks out when he needs to. And what he's saying is absolutely right. You can't always accomplish something with money and time and research. But I disagree with some points of what Erie said. He's objecting about time and funding, but he is basically agreeing to limit the research only towards a cure for the Hinamizawa syndrome. That won't do. We can't unravel the mystery. The discovery of the Hinamizawa syndrome won't be the great work of my grandfather.
I see. I think I see your point too. Our main purpose is to dispose the fact that the research was conducted for military purpose completely. So, we think that we must forever hide the fact that the research was conducted on the strange disease called the Hinamizawa syndrome as well as its existence. If we can eradicate the disease without anyone knowing about it, then we will put in necessary time and funds. We'll discuss more about that later. Is that okay?
Yes. No problem.
Then please submit a plan and budget proposal to eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome in secrecy. We'll do our best on our part to okay on your proposal.
Thank you. I'll work on it immediately.
Please don't misunderstand that it's not our intention to stop your research immediately. We want to conclude this research in the best possible way. Please understand that.
Yes, of course. I understand.
While I was hearing their conversation, I was struck and dumbfounded with one of the statements. To eradicate the Hinamizawa syndrome in secrecy. That's the same as saying the Hinamizawa syndrome never existed. And my grandfather's name will never be known. The sound of rustling papers and the voice proceeding filled the meeting room. I only hear the ticking clock as I clutch my sweating palms.
Oh, and that's probably what tips her over the edge. To cause the Hinamizawa tragedy. Alright, so now we got the C117 now. There it is. Deja vu. Looks like I'm gonna have to bring out another piece of paper. We are near the end of this one.
Hey, Nakagawa-kun, long time no see. So, you've been doing that?
You know, I have no idea.
No, not at all.
It's not fun getting old. You must concentrate when you work with clay. If you put it off for a long time, your senses get dull and there's no point.
Sensei, allow me to introduce Major Takano.
Very nice
Very nice to meet you. Thank you for taking time to meet with me today. I truly appreciate it.
I really didn't make time for you, actually. I was told that I could have good raw sea urchins. Sea urchins are good for you, did you know? Rich in vitamin A, and they are good for your skin. Women like sea urchins, right? No. Bitches like cannons.
It is true that sea urchins are rich in vitamin A, but compared to spinach, it's not anything that's worth making a big fuss about. But then again, spinach can lead to kidney stones if you eat too much of it. Unless I'm confusing that with something else. Well, now that matters here. He seems to be an unpleasant man, so I just wanted to criticize him. These men are the directors of the Alphabet Project who hold the funding for the Erie Institution. Also, people who are in the positions of being able to offer their opinions to those directors. To put it in a simpler way, they are the new owners of the Erie Institution. Although not as much as Father Koizumi was, they are also the leaders and masterminds behind various fields. I have to be very careful not to upset them. Therefore, there's no way I would have had an ability to call them in. By using the influence that the Koizumi faction once had, I finally managed to get this chance. Father Koizumi gave me his full support to make everything go my way is not here anymore. I'm on my own from this point on to open up a path. But this isn't my solo stage today. I can't let the people who offered me this chance lose face, so I have to wait patiently until it's my turn. My purpose today is to explain how impressive of a research topic the Hinamizawa syndrome is, and to ask for an indefinite extension of the research. They only think about money, so they don't even know the hidden potential of the Hinamizawa syndrome. They don't realize it's worth spending a lot of money on. This is not a research to find the existence of an unknown parasite, but it is something that may overthrow the basic knowledge of human anthropology. A Nobel Peace Prize can't even signify enough. It won't be easy trying to explain all that to men who know nothing about it, but I have to. That's why I spent many hours making easy-to-understand support documents, so it'll be easy for amateurs to understand. Sometimes we make confusing documents on purpose because we don't like dealing with uneducated people, but this time is different. I can't look down at them. I must sincerely try to make them understand. The easy-to-understand support documents are, well, in a huge pile. I feel like we're wasting time eating traditional Japanese food in such a relaxed mood. I want to get to that point and explain to them in detail so they can understand. But there is a saying, an anxious better gets a little? An anxious better gets a little... Huh? So I have to be patient. An anxious better gets a little...
Okay. Be honest, I don't think the Alphabet Project was that great until now. In the end, it was really nothing more than a sandbox play. All the old men think we're still in the Pacific War. Sandbox with those old men who use connections that they don't own to drown it. Wait, who's talking? Okay. That they don't even own to drone a dream of a Japanese Empire revival. Do you know how much public funding was wasted because of those old men's delusions?
I heard they are pinning investigators on people like Okuno-sensei and trying to catch them for embezzling from the old board of directors.
That's what you get for trying to suck up to those old men. Of course, none of it can be made public, so I guess they'll be held responsible or demoted in another form. This is what the country gets for letting these ghosts of the war run freely around all these time. Oi, these grilled sea urchins are awesome.
Are you alright?
I can't. I'm starting to choke. Fuck!
This is rather hard for me to start. I'm really sorry to ask you something like this in the middle of all this. But if I may have a moment of your time...
You're from the Erie Institution, right? You're researching some kind of a local disease in Nagano or Gifu, right? What's going on?
The board has decided to stop the research for military application. The research itself is to stop within 3 years as well. Oh, no. Sorry, that's still being discussed. Anyhow, the research is scheduled to be shut down within a few years.
Ah, yes, I remember now. The Erie Institution had a bad reputation even among the old board of directors. It sucked up a huge amount of funding without any former inspection. I don't know why, but someone high up kept pushing it for some reason. Because of that, nobody could really say anything about it, and it was left all alone. But you know, this guy loved to flirt around with women, so maybe that had something to do with it.
I'm going to rip your dick off.
What?
Nothing. Is he trying to say I used my body to hook up with Father Koizumi? He's insulting both of us. But I hold my anger in. I can't be bothered by something like this. Anyway, today I would like to explain to you about our Institute's research details and would like to ask you to reconsider the decision about the Erie Institution. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to attend this meeting today.
Well, I guess they don't give out free sea urchins for nothing, huh? My laugh sucks.
I explained to them how much meaning the Hinamizawa syndrome carries, while being very careful not to go too fast. Simpletons. I tried to let them know that the Hinamizawa syndrome's potential is not limited to small things like military application, but it has a much more important meaning. It may explain some ideologies and religions. It may even shake the very definition of a human being. I take my time and explain very slowly. I'm not confident if all of that had gotten through to these boorish men, but I'm happy if they understood even just a part of it. As long as they understand how much of a magnificent discovery the Hinamizawa syndrome is.
Thank you, Major. I see.
We would like to discuss among ourselves, so could you please excuse yourself?
Yes, thank you. Obviously, they can't discuss in front of me. I gave them all the documents with them. I just hope they would accept them in a good way. I leave the room and close a sliding door. The room next door is a preparations room, so I head there. But I stop. I shouldn't be doing this, but I try to listen in through the sliding door.
It's gonna be a repeat of what happened, isn't it?
Oh my. I don't know what to say. I feel sorry for everyone from the previous board of directors.
I know. Koizumi's sensei pushed this strongly?
I've met him once before when he took position as the founding director of 20 pharmaceuticals. He seemed like a very intelligent person to me.
I guess you can just win against aging. It makes me realize how important final moments are for humans.
But it is the fact that very rare disease called the Hinamizawa syndrome really exists. So not everything is a delusion.
I hear the Erie Institution has already succeeded in understanding the disease and developed a treatment. Isn't that enough?
Well, for modern Japan, we have to be careful with events that might make neighboring countries nervous. And I think military-related issues are the most sensitive ones. So, at the very least, we must erase the fact that a research for military purposes has been going on for the past few years immediately.
Is it separate from the discontinuation in military research?
Yes. Even if we stop the research immediately, the fact that Hinamizawa syndrome is a research to create a biological weapon remains. We should hide the fact no matter what purpose the research is for. If possible, it would be best if the Hinamizawa syndrome disappears.
That's true. If the disease remains, then sooner or later someone will become curious about it and dig up a hole which was filled by us. I think we should follow the decision of the board of directors, and as soon as the Erie Institution eradicates the disease, we should have them destroy all the evidence of the research before disbanding. I guess that's for the best. It's not the matter of the research getting a Nobel Prize, but it is a useless research for the post-war Japan. Besides, the disease has existed ever since the ancient times, right? And we made it this far without any problems. I always thought this research was just poking around in the bushes from the beginning. Me too. I don't doubt the existence of the Hinamizawa syndrome. But, Dr. Takano, who discovered the disease? She's exaggerating the disease too much. When I was reading the documents, I thought he had a unique interpretation of things too. First of all, I've never heard of parasites that's capable of controlling people's thoughts. It's just too much. If we explain religions with this, then Buddha and Jesus are queen carriers. Is that it? If we reveal someone like that to the world, we'll be bashed from every single nation in the world. Religion is pretty scary nowadays. It still is, damn it! If there are parasites that live in animal brains, then I guess we can say there are parasites that live in human brains too. But for them to control human thoughts? That's just way too unique, you know.
As I peek in from the gap in the sliding door, I'm trapped within an unbelievable sense of deja vu. This is my first time experiencing this, but it doesn't feel like the first time. I don't know why, but the memory is so sad and so painful. Huh? Why? Tears? When I realize, I see a very nostalgic carpeted room on the other side of the sliding door. Not a tatami-floored room. The room is filled with the smell of dust mixed with the smell of some evaporated medicine, but the air is extremely soothing to me. And there's my grandfather. His article that he poured his heart into was denounced, yet he wasn't allowed to even cry. This isn't a delusion, because within the documents I left with those men, there are lots of references to the article my grandfather wrote. So I'm not surprised for my grandfather to be standing right there explaining it to them himself. Together with my tears from seeing this sight of my beloved grandfather, I watch these men insult and ridicule his great work. I've seen this sight before, and the sight should have ended then. But why is it repeating again? I can only peek through the sliding door blankly at this strange world where reality and illusion overlap.
Major is rather weird, and Koizumi-sensei, who believed in something as ridiculous as this, is weird too. But the weirdest one of all is the discoverer who wrote this article.
It's mixed with expectations and delusions, and it looks like a fiction than a thesis. I think this will be a big hit once it gets published, you know.
You're absolutely right. I have a friend who is the head of a publishing company. I bet he'll love this.
This is not a laughing matter, everyone. A huge amount of funds were put into this over the past few years. The worst thing is that the equipment to gas the villagers in case of an emergency has been prepared already. Nobody can find out about this.
But such a plan to exist is scary enough. If people find out all the equipments are prepared, the whole country will be against us.
On top of that, the cost to maintain the equipment is enormous. You don't think they're really being maintained, do you? It's probably a fake project just to channel money through. What did they say anyway? If a girl dies, the whole village will go crazy at the same time? What kind of comic are we talking about? Exactly. Who would believe such a childish story and let huge amounts of funding just go into it? That's just crazy. If there's actually anyone who believes these documents, he's a complete idiot.
As he says so, he places the documents down violently with an exaggerated gesture. Actually, I should say he slams them down, because the document papers are scattered around all over the floor.
You're right. Excuse me. I need to use the bathroom.
One of the men stands up and steps on the papers. It's not the documents on tatami, But it's the grandfather's article on the... Right there. See my grandfather filled with heart-tearing sadness. Yet he can't show it on his face. Grandfather's face doesn't look different, but it looks crumpled to me. I even see the walls of his study crumple sadly. I jump into the room. I grab onto the man's legs. I don't hate him. No, it's not the matter if I hate him or not. Sure, I hate him, but that's not it. I can't forgive the feet that step on my grandfather's article. Don't step on them! My grandpa wrote these. Please don't step on them.
Whoa! Oh, sorry.
I want to get those feet away from the papers which are still stepping on them, but they are so stubborn as if they've grown roots and I can't even push them. So I beg as I grab onto his legs. I try to pull the papers from under his feet, but I can't move his feet. I can't pull the papers. Don't step on them. Don't step on them. My grandpa's... Don't step on them. My sobbing echoes in the silent room, just like back then. Fuck.
Takano just can't catch a break. Fuck. The death of Koizumi-sensei is required. She just can't catch a break. And this is coming from someone I'm supposed to hate. He's supposed to be the bad guy! I feel bad. Damn it, Ryukishi, why do you do this to me? Ryukishi, you just enjoy torturing people, don't you? You toy with their feelings, man! Okay. Gone a little bit further. I'm actually gonna go ahead and check to see, like, how many pieces I kind of have left. Obviously, we're gonna go next with the death of Koizumi. So there's 3 here. 5. 6. 9. 14. And then all of these over here. Holy crap, this is taking a while. But I'm getting further. I've gotten a good amount now. Kind of. I still have quite a lot to go, and this is taking me a while, but damn it, I'm gonna make it through. Fuck. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching You're doing a good job making me feel a shit ton of emotions for Takano. Even though what happened in the last episode still kind of makes me mad. But I'm understanding her a lot more now. God. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hello there everybody, Sabato92 here, and if you like this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And hey, if you guys like my content, then maybe you'd like to check out another channel who I think deserves equal attention. So click that nightmare emblem and check out that channel, or go to the links in the description down below. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.